Breaking news tonight, the New York Times and the Washington Post reporting Special Counsel Robert Mueller wrote a letter in late March to Attorney General William Barr objecting to his early description of the Russia investigation's conclusions that appeared to clear President Trump on possible obstruction of justice. The Washington Post reporting Mueller wrote, quote, "The summary letter the department sent to Congress and released to the public late in the afternoon of March 24th did not fully capture the context, nature, and substance of this office's work and conclusions. There is now public confusion about critical aspects of the results of our investigation." Well, to clear all of that up, Robert Mueller, if you're listening, here's where we straighten it all out. Joining us, Victoria Toensing, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General for the Criminal Division of the Justice Department. Joe DiGenova, former U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, the founding partners of DiGenova and Toensing Law Firm. Thank you both for being here. Have we got a lot to cover? Let's start with Robert Mueller didn't like William Barr's summary of his findings, particularly on obstruction of justice. Victoria?
Well, there was no problem with the collusion statement, that there was no evidence of collusion. This was about obstruction. And Mueller, Wiseman, Joe and I call it the Wiseman report, said that he could not exonerate the president on obstruction and did not make a decision. So Bill Barr did. And what else was he to do? He analyzed it, gave a very thoughtful legal analysis, and said, I have looked at these facts, and there is no obstruction. I think Bob Mueller has lost it completely.
Yeah, and you know, Joe, I don't recall him. I think I recall him saying specifically that the investigation did not exonerate the president on obstruction of justice. And then every person I listened to expressly, DiGenova and Toensing, not in that order necessarily, said that there's no requirement to exonerate on charges.
Well, what you have here, first of all, that's absolutely correct. It's not a prosecutor's job to exonerate anybody. You charge or don't, and he didn't. The bottom line here is that this is a continuation of a very bad process that Bob Mueller started by hiring a bunch of Democrats and having them led by Andrew Weissmann, who showed up at Hillary Clinton's so-called victory party and broke into tears with her. This is an abusive, outrageous, vindictive, unethical, unprofessional letter that was written for Mueller by Weissmann. The Attorney General released the entire report except for the portions that the law prohibits. Right. What does Mueller want him to do? He published Mueller's outrageously poorly written handiwork, the report. So I'm not quite sure what Mueller's problem is.
Yeah, I'm not either, and I have to say I just couldn't believe it. The volume 2. I couldn't even imagine what purpose it served other than to, as you were intimating, to satisfy the prurient interest of Andrew Weissmann and his ilk on that witch hunt.
Yes, absolutely correct. And in fact, there was no reason for the language that's in there. It's a very adolescent report. It's written, it's not very impressive professionally. In fact, it was clearly written to embarrass the president, to figure out any way they could not to make him look good. That report is an embarrassment to the Department of Justice. But of course, that doesn't mean anything to poor Bob Mueller. You know what? It's fairly obvious that he stayed too long at the fair.
Yeah, and this president had to put up with him all of the time that he there resided. Yes. Let's turn to where we are in all these investigations, because it becomes clear by every day, Victoria, that we need desperately to know the level, the extent, the breadth, the depth of the corruption at the FBI leadership and at the Department of Justice. Your thoughts?
Oh, well, I would hope to see some grand jury opened in Washington, D.C., and a grand jury opened in Virginia. And Joe and I have talked about this. The first person we would call would be the good Mike Rogers, who came in and reported all these violations of FISA
Mike
for
Rogers,
years.
The former head of the National Security Administration.
Yes.
This is the NSA. Michael Rogers, the admiral, stands out as a hero in all of this, doesn't he?
He's it. You know, it's interesting. All the villains in this story are lawyers. And the only good person, the only hero in the whole thing is Admiral Mike Rogers, who went to the FISA court and advised the court that he had discovered 4 years of illegal spying by FBI contractors that was approved and authorized by Comey and Yates and John Carlin, the head of the National Security Division under Loretta Lynch and under President Obama. And to listen to that loon, Ben Rhodes, today say that they knew nothing about this at the White House, when in fact the text messages between Strzok and Page say the White House wants to know everything about it and is running this.
POTUS, it says, wants to know everything. It doesn't just say the White House.
POTUS.
Yep. Two separate exchanges between those two. One referring to POTUS and the other saying the White House wants to know, as you say. It's stunning. Very quickly, we're way over time. Is it your judgment then that we're going to see something substantial and that will turn to the issue of actually investigating the corruption in the FBI leadership, in the Department of Justice leadership?
I think the Attorney General has to wait until the IG report comes out, and then he can base his decisions publicly on whatever the IG has said. And we're told that there's going to be recommendations for criminal referrals.
Victoria, thank you very much. Joe, you get the last word real quickly.
Grand juries are in order.
You know, I'm not a lawyer, but I sure know when it sounds right, and that sure sounds right.